Welcome to this video on conducting a chi-square test of independence in Rguroo. Let's begin. After watching this video, you will be able to use Rguroo to perform a chi-square test of independence. Before we start, we need to figure out what does Rguroo want. In other words, what sort of input is it looking for if you want to conduct a chi-square test of independence? Well, you might think to yourself that it wants some raw data, something that looks like this. You might think that it wants a table that looks like this, or even a table that looks like this. But guess what? All three of these are examples of incorrect inputs for Rguroo. So let me explain to you what Rguroo does want. So it does want a summary and not a raw data set. But unfortunately, you have to save it as a table, not as a data set. So even if you were to type this into your Rguroo and you save it as a data set, it's not going to do the chi-squared test of independence for you. Secondly, we have to delete those row and column values that said totals. We have to get rid of those or else it's going to mess up your data. And lastly, again, it does have to be a summary and not raw data. So let's go ahead and hop over to Rguroo and let me show you exactly what I mean by these criteria. So when you log into Rguroo, your screen looks something like this. Now, a normal, sane person might think to themselves, gee golly, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start just entering values and I'm going to recreate my summary table here, right? So let's say, I don't know, I have like a male population and a female population, or let's just say, this is a result here, right? So let's say I did a survey and some people were satisfied and some people were not. So some people were satisfied and some people were unsatisfied, right? And I divided people up by male or female. So here's male and here's female, right? And then I have the, I have the summary here, so let's just make up some numbers here. Okay, so you would think, right, this looks exactly like what I described, and you would think that it would be fine as long as I save my data set, right? But guess what? It is a data set. It is not a table. So Rguroo is not going to accept this. So what we have to do instead, we can get rid of this because we don't need it. We have to go to Data, we have to go to Data Import, and then we have to click on Create New Table. And see, now up here, instead of data set, it says table. So now, let's say, again, I collected data from people about whether they were satisfied or unsatisfied. So now I can type in satisfied and unsatisfied. And notice here, as I'm typing in, notice that it is in this grayed out area. So these are the row labels, okay? And then these are the column labels. So we'll do, I don't know, male and female here, okay? And then you can type in your numbers. Again, I'm just making up numbers here. That's not the important thing. Okay. Now you would think, again, as a sane person, that you could, call this table 1 and save it as a table, would you not? Oh no, it's mad at me again. I'm shocked. Okay, so what it wants is it wants a name for this row variable. So satisfied or unsatisfied, right? Let's just call that feedback, right? It's the result of a survey. Okay, and we have our column variable, male and female, so we'll call that gender. Okay, and then last but not least, the frequency, right? This is just the count. You can put anything here you want, okay? And if you're trying to do this quick and dirty, just maybe a homework problem or something, obviously you can just put random letters here. But unless you change these fields and type letters into all three of these fields, it will not, it won't save your table. It's very frustrating. Okay, so let's just save this as table 1. Okay, so now, fingers crossed, we should have the input that is desired by Rguroo. So now we can go to Analytics, we can go to Analysis, okay, and now we're going to go to the Contingency Table, right, because we finally actually have a contingency table to feed it. So again, very misleading. It says select a data set. Gee golly, you know what? I don't want a data set. I want a table. And if you look over here, do you see how some of these icons are slightly different from the others, right? So this is the little icon we're looking for here. It looks like, actually looks like a table. So I'm going to select table 1 right here, okay? And then the first factor, I'm going to select feedback, and then I'm going to select gender, and then the frequency is the count, and I'm going to tell it that I want a chi-square test of independence. And now I hit the eyeball, okay? And it just reproduces the summary here for me with the totals, right? and it does give me also my test statistic, and it gives me my p-value. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, it also graphs the chi-square for me as well. So to summarize what I just said, what does Rguroo want? It wants a table, not a data set. Okay, even though it looks like it asks for a data set. It does not want raw data, it wants a summary. Okay, so again, you have to go to data, data import, and create new table, and you have to save it as a table, not a data set. Okay, you can, if you're using some sort of online learning platform that allows you to copy data, you can enter that data or you can copy it from that platform. Okay, and if your online learning platform has total rows and columns, you have to get rid of them first before you save your table. Okay, and again, if you don't save your table, just like you have to save all your data sets, then it won't be able to find that table when you go to do your analysis.